Hello Internet, Seth Skorkowski, and it's been a while since I've done one of my worst story videos, so I figured I'd correct that. Now, one type of tabletop story that's extremely popular and I get a lot of requests for are player horror stories, and this definitely falls into one of those, as well as a dice curse story. Two fronts, pew pew! It's a story of not just some hilariously bad dice rolls, but one overreacting, paranoid murder hobo that decided to take that opportunity to burn the Game Master's game down so hard that, as far as I'm aware, that GM has never run again. Who was this stupid jerk, you ask? It was this guy. Yeah, this is a story about me. Okay, so let's rewind time a bit. This is 2010-ish, and we were playing some Cyberpunk 2020. It was a world-hopping campaign, but what made it really interesting is that we had set it up that way we could have rotating game masters while still maintaining a story arc. I should probably do a video on that and how we did it and what we learned, but for the purpose of this video, all you need to know is that one of my players said, "I'd like to try running a session." So the player asked to borrow my Pacific Rim book and then spent several weeks putting together an epic adventure, building floor plans and populating it with goons. Finally the day came. He took the helm and I sat with the players, excited to get my playing on. We learned that our characters had to go to Tokyo because the guy who knew the information that we needed was going to be there. But he was only going to be there for a few days, and during that time he wasn't expected to leave the skyscraper that he was hiding out in. So to get the information that we needed to complete our main quest, we needed to get inside the building, grab the target and the device he was carrying, and get them out. This one is going to be tough. Yeah, this place is a fortress. We're going to need to do some recon. You know, guys, I have an idea. The idea was that two of us were going to disguise ourselves as office supply salesmen doing cold calls to all the businesses in the skyscraper. Our netrunner built us a website, we had business cards made, and we even had acquired some samples that we might try to sell out of a briefcase while we were there. There were like 5 players in the group, but only 2 of us needed to go in. This was just going to be a quick recon. We're going to place some bugs around the place and get an idea of what the floor plan looked like. My character had the best fast talk skills, and my buddy had the best sneaking ability, so we were chosen to be the ones to change ourselves from gritty edge runners into respectable businessmen. And then once our covers were done, we were ready to begin. The 2 of you enter the building's lobby, and before you is a long counter. To the right, where the elevators are, an armed security team scans people before allowing them to go up. Okay, well, I walk up to the receptionist and I hand her my business card and I say, "Hello, we're with Centrix Paper Supplies and we're doing some cold calls today." While she's distracted talking to him, I'm going to slip one of the sticky bugs up underneath the reception counter. That way we've got ears on the reception desk. Ooh, good idea. I know, I only have good ideas. Okay, make a roll to see how well you stick that little sticky bug there without her noticing. Okay, for those of you who don't know how Cyberpunk 2020 works, when you roll a 1 when making a skill check, you then have to roll on this table to see how bad it is. Roll low, it isn't too bad. Rolled high, and it's abysmal. Now, we were playing a house rule version called Interlock Unlimited that has a secondary roll where you then verify if it was actually a fumble or not, so it greatly cuts down on the number of rampant fumbles that you could normally have in a game of Cyberpunk. But for the sake of this video, when I talk about fumbled rolls, all of those rolls also failed the secondary roll because we are about to have a lot of fumbles. Our GM said roll on the fumble table, and the player did, and it was bad. Okay, so what you do is you take that little sticky micro bug and you reach up in front of the counter and you stick it up under the lip. Then it falls off and you pick it up and you stick it back up there again. Whole time you're maintaining perfect eye contact with that woman. Oh, this is bad. You see her reach a hand up underneath her desk like she's pushing a button, and a security guard starts walking towards you. Now, my character had some insanely good fast talk skills, so I was all, "Don't worry, I got this." I rolled to see how bad it was, and it was terrible. Okay, so the security guard walks up to ask what the problem is, and before anybody can say anything, you just blurt out, "Bug? What bug? There was no bug. She's a liar, and you're an idiot for believing her." So security takes us into the back of the building. Now, my buddy and I, we have no weapons on us, and we are sweating bullets here because we are convinced that we are about to be tortured and killed. Dude, we are in trouble. What do we do? Well, there's really only one thing left. I mentioned in my How to Run a Heist video that there's a slang term that came from an old Solo of Fortune book called bombshell, which is what you say when everything has gone sideways, diplomacy has failed, and it's time to cut your losses. So I said it. Bombshell. Let's do it. So as the guards led us to some sort of interrogation room, my buddy and I struck. We quickly overpowered the guards and took their weapons. Alarms started going off, and we knew we had to get the hell out of there fast. We made our way back to the building, killing guards as we went. We were brutal, and our rolls were amazing. This was nothing like the bad rolls that we had in the lobby earlier. We couldn't fail. At least, we couldn't fail until we got back to that cursed lobby. As you enter the lobby, you see some metal shutters start sliding down across the windows as more armed security guards start rushing towards you. My buddy had a submachine gun and I had 2 pistols, and we knew that we were going to have to shoot one of those windows out before the shutters closed if we were going to escape. I leap over the counter and lay suppressive fire as we start racing toward those windows. Roll your athletics. You bust your ass falling over that counter and take 1 point of damage. Dude, we are screwed. Don't worry. I got this one. Now, one thing my character had just gotten was a chipware upgrade from one of the Chromebooks called an ambidexterity chip, and with it, I could fire 2 handguns without penalty, and I was itching to show it off for the first time. Okay guys, watch this. That's right, I fumbled both of those rolls. Now thankfully they weren't bad fumbles. I didn't shoot myself and shoot my buddy, which honestly would have been a mercy killing at that point, so there was at least that. Instead, I dropped one handgun and started shooting in the air like a complete idiot. Eventually, we managed to throw a chair or something at one of the windows and smashed the window and charged out into the streets of Tokyo under a hail of gunfire. Our game master just sat there. We all knew this adventure was wrecked. Security was going to be a lot worse now. The target most certainly knew that we were coming for him now, and we had no idea what to do. The GM called for a 15-minute break to figure out what the hell he was going to do now that his adventure was up in flames. Once we reconvened, it was back to work. Avoiding the building, we learned that the target was going to be fleeing the country, and we were going to take that opportunity once he was outside the building to go ahead and try to strike him. We staged an extremely clumsy kidnapping at an airport parking garage. One of us flashbanged ourselves, but we managed to get the target and get the hell out of there. We also had a ton of fun during this game. So, from a player's standpoint, this was a successful game. Once it was done, I told the game master that I had fun, but I apologized he never got to use that building that he spent so much time putting together for us, but that was the dice's fault that it screwed up. Yeah, the dice rolls were pretty bad, but you're the one that set it on fire. Me? Those guards are just going to ask you a bunch of questions, maybe rough you up a bit, then just kick you out. You guys didn't have any weapons on you, so they figure you were just regular corporate spies. But no, you had to call bombshell and just open up the killing floor. Oh. This ain't the first time you done that neither, with all your trust the game master that you tell us when you're running the game. But when you're a player and things don't go the way you expect them to go, you always just call bombshell and just start killing everything. He was right. This was evidently a trend with me. And while the dice, yes, were insanely bad, it was my reaction to them that escalated it, and I had to admit that. And yes, while we did have a lot of fun, and the campaign continued on to a very thrilling conclusion, and that player is still with me today. You might recognize him as JJ from our Two-Headed Serpent campaign, or Jax from the Mystery of BT SHT 365 campaign. But in that time, he has never run again. And anytime I ever float the idea past him, see if he might want to run the game, he just smiles and says, "Remember what happened last time." I'd love to say that there was a lesson learned here, but I guess we'll never know. Not unless you want to run me again, George. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see some more of our stuff, such as game reviews, or how-tos, or even more war stories, just hit that subscribe button. Till next time, amigos, y'all have a great day. Seriously. I spent a week on that building and you idiots didn't even make it through the lobby. Damn.